I'm a lifelong resident of Michipicoten First Nation. Back in the early 90s, I was the chief. And there was always something, while being in that position, there was something else that I had to do, that I felt I had to do. And just listening to all the comments here, having that feeling of not having answers, not knowing what is going on. Well, you know, today, it's still the same way. Back in the 90s, I had this feeling, and it was a hurting feeling. Our kids would walk around with no smiles. So then I went away later on, and I got into the health field because I felt that it was so important for our children to grow up and knowing who they are and knowing who their family is. When I went on that vision quest, the vision came to have that gathering on our First Nation. So it started off, it was just elders from communities coming in and having lunch. And then later on it started building. And those people, you know, those elders that came to visit in our community, they shared that joy, that feeling that they had when they entered our community, coming down that road, going down over the hill and seeing the water. Those islands that we have out there, they're so special to us. And when the gathering started, a lot of people came who had never been on the First Nation, who never visited, who never brought their children to come and visit. And when the gathering started, and each year it started building and building, we were up to a point where we were having 400 people a day. We fed the people 3 meals a day. And you know why? That's how we were brought up. Feeding the people that came to visit. Feeding our families that came to visit us at our homes. Feeding those spirits of who we are as Anishinaabe people. And looking at the health of the people when they came to visit, and not having them worry about where they were going to get their next meal. Those meals were there. And we never asked nothing in return. And today I look at, you know, I haven't worked for the First Nation for about 5 years now, but every day I go out and I look, there's no smiles on our kids. There's no smiles on our youth. The youth are getting sick. Our elders are getting sick. There is no help there for our elders. Youth, they have to go out of the community to go get their education. But what is there to come back to? You know, and now I feel I'm getting sick again. When I first started the gathering, there was a fella, he says, I was a sucking baby because I felt it. I would cry. Every day when we say prayer, we would go do ceremony, I would be crying. Because all of that hurt that I was feeling, that I was seeing in our people, and I was just so hoping it would keep on going on and on and on. But you know, when there's so much disagreement in the community today. Even like now, you know, people say they want to know what's going on. Well, this little circle here, this is our community. And now we have new members who are on the list. You out there. Yes, you do want to know what's going on. And how can we do that? My vision is make that gathering stronger. Let's start to put that gathering back to use again. There was many stories, you know. A fella who was 62 years old went through ceremony. He came up to me and he says, you know what? That was so good. Because I was abused when I was a kid. But since I went through this ceremony, today I'm going to start to heal myself. 62 years old. And there was a family that came down and she had a teenager who was into alcohol and drugs and stuff. That young fellow went through that. She writes me a letter a couple of years later and she says, I want to thank you for what you do in Michipicoten First Nation at the gathering. My son is out there, he's helping other youth to pave the way for them. That, you know, just that little bit of help makes a community strive. And when we get on that healing path, I know it's an up and down, but standing strong together, we can do a lot of things. And we also have to be aware that it's not only the chief and council, it's our community, our youth, our elders. And if you ask each one of those directions of our ancestors to come in and help us, we would be so much stronger. We would be so much stronger today. But it's those things that people don't hear. The leadership, when they don't hear what the people are saying, it hurts. I feel it today. I'm having a very hard time to keep my emotions intact, but I want to get out what I have to say. And I will never leave my community. That's my roots. I've known a lot of elders. I sat down with the elders. We had tea, we played cards, square dances, things to make them smile, to make them laugh and feel that energy, having fun with each other. And that's another thing, to have fun while we're growing. Because when those little Bonojis see us smiling and having fun, then that, you know, that smile, it brings that smile to their face. So that is my vision of the future of our community, and I think it's going to always be that way. But I can be very stern too, being on, if I was in the political level again. I know when I was chief before, I didn't go through the healing. And that was a big biatch. But you know what? I've learned so much in my journey of healing that I just so love being in circles. It gives me like I'm riding on a cloud right now because the energy comes from you. So in order to make our community grow, each one of you have a say to tell our council that sits in this circle here, to share with them what you're feeling. And you know that braid that we weave, it goes around and around and around, and mine's messy, but when we intertwine and help each other, it makes it so much stronger. It makes that journey of life so much better. And yes, we do need change. Change in our political table right now. I mean, it's been a while since we had gatherings. And I always enjoy gathering. I love cooking. I love dancing. I love being silly. Even though I said I'm going to be an elder to myself, I don't feel that. I feel like I'm 30 years old and I could still go. And I'm hoping with your vote and the people's vote, we could start again on the right foot in moving forward together. And I say miigwech to all the candidates who are running, and good luck to everybody. And bless you and your families and me, Gwetch, for coming today. I hope.